Have you ever felt the exact moment your heart turns into a piece of flint? Mine happened on a Tuesday, the day we buried Aaron. I was standing in the foyer of the house we built together, the house where our children took their first steps. My eyes were swollen shut from crying. Then came the click. The sound of Beatrice's designer heels on the hardwood. "Pack, Sydney," she said. "No, I'm sorry for your loss." "No, how are the kids?" "Just pack." I looked at her, confused. "Beatrice, it's 9 p.m., it's snowing." "Then you'd better move fast," Chloe chimed in. Leaning against the doorframe, already holding my crystal vase, the audit of Aaron's business shows he owed the family estate millions. This house? It's ours now. The cars? Aren't. That watch on your wrist? Take it off. I begged. I literally dropped to my knees. I pointed to my sleeping children on the sofa. Beatrice didn't even look at them. She looked at her manicure. "You were a charity Casey picked up in high school, Sydney. The charity has ended. They pushed us out." I remember the sensation of the cold air hitting my kids' faces. My daughter, Maya, didn't even have her coat. I gave her my sweater. I stood on the sidewalk, clutching 2 trash bags of clothes, watching my mother-in-law pull the curtains shut on my life. That was the night Sydney died, and someone else was born. People love to use the word hustle. They use it for extra shifts or a side gig. My hustle wasn't a choice. It was a haunting. I became a shadow. I worked as a janitor at a high-end investment firm downtown. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'd spend 4 hours every morning scrubbing the marble floors of men who looked like Aaron, men who had everything I'd lost. I'd find discarded financial journals in the trash bins. While other people threw them away, I took them home like they were gold bars. At night, after the kids fell asleep on a mattress we found on a curb, I'd sit by the window. We didn't have power for 6 months. I used the light from the street lamp outside to read those journals. I taught myself the language of the people who destroyed me. I learned what probate, asset liquidation, and predatory lending meant. I realized Beatrice hadn't just been mean. She'd been a thief. And I was learning how to steal it all back. I'll never forget the night of Maya's 7th birthday. I had Wumeiyuan. I had to choose between a bus pass to get to my night shift or a small cupcake for her. I walked 6 miles in the rain so she could have that cupcake. When I got home, soaking wet and shivering, I watched my 2 children split that one cupcake down the middle, making sure each bite was perfectly even. My son Leo looked at me and said, "Mom, are you eating?" I lied. "I ate at work, baby." My stomach was so empty it felt like it was folding in on itself. That was the night the sadness died. In its place, something hard and metallic grew. I stopped crying. Crying wastes salt, and I needed my strength. I stopped scrubbing floors and started cleaning up books. I had spent years studying coding and data analyses on a refurbished laptop I bought from a pawn shop. I landed a junior role at a tech startup by lying about my credentials, then working 20 hours a day to make sure nobody found out. I became the first one in and the last one out. I didn't make friends. I didn't go to happy hours while my coworkers were out drinking. I was building an algorithm that predicted market crashes. I wasn't just looking for a paycheck anymore. I was looking for a weapon. I started Vesta. It began in a closet-sized office with a leaking ceiling. I took the most aggressive, higher-risk deals no one else would touch. I became known as the woman who never blinked. I earned the nickname, the Ice Queen, because my heart was frozen in that snowbank 12 years ago. And I liked the cold, but now I was making millions. But I still lived like I was broke. I kept my children in modest clothes, teaching them the value of $1 and the danger of a snake. Meanwhile, I used a private investigator to track Beatrice and Chloe. I watched through high-resolution photos as they spent Aaron's legacy. I saw Chloe's $200,000 wedding in the Hamptons. I saw the pictures of them clinking champagne glasses on a yacht in a vista. Every time I saw them smile in a photo, I'd look at the scar on my finger from the bleach I used to scrub toilets. I'd whisper, "Enjoy the view, Beatrice. It's a long way down. I didn't just want them poor. I wanted them to feel the exact moment the floor disappeared. I spent 2 years buying up their debt, quietly whispering in the ears of their creditors, ensuring that every loan they took out eventually led back to me. I wasn't just a CEO. I was the architect of their funeral. The lobby of my building is made of reinforced glass and cold basalt. I wanted them to feel small the moment they stepped inside. Beatrice and Chloe arrived smelling of desperation and expensive perfume they could no longer afford. They adjusted their knockoff designer bags, trying to look like the aristocrats they once were. They thought they were meeting a savior. They thought they were about to get a bailout. I watched them on the security feed from my desk. Chloe was complaining about the wait. Beatrice was checking her reflection, fixing her pearls. The same pearls that belonged to my mother-in-law. The ones she swore I'd never inherit. "The CEO will see you now," my assistant said. When the heavy oak doors opened, I kept my back to them. I wanted them to take in the view. From the 30th floor, the city looks like a playground. I wanted them to realize I owned the very air they were breathing. "Please sit, my lawyer," Marcus said. His voice was like a gavel. "We are so grateful for this meeting," Beatrice began, her voice fluttering with that rehearsed upper-class charm. "Our family estate has been in our name for generations. It's a tragedy that a minor liquidity issue has brought us here, but we are looking for a partner who understands legacy." "Legacy?" I whispered, still facing the window. "Or a loophole?" Chloe scoffed. "Excuse me? Who is this?" "We were told we were meeting the principal of Vesta." Marcus ignored her. He slid the contract across the table. "The terms are simple. Vesta Holdings pays off your $4 million debt to the bank today. In exchange, you vacate the estate by midnight. You surrender the keys to the mountain cabin. You surrender the safe deposit box keys. And you sign this confession regarding the misplaced funds from Aaron's life insurance trust." The room went silent. I could hear Beatrice's breath hitching. "This isn't a partnership," Beatrice hissed. "This is an execution." "It's a foreclosure," I said. I slowly rotated the chair. The color didn't just leave Beatrice's face. It looked like her soul evaporated. She grabbed the edge of the table. Chloe actually let out a small, pathetic whimper. "Sydney?" Beatrice's voice was a ghost of itself. "No, you died. We heard you were in a shelter. You heard what you wanted to believe, so you could sleep at night," I said, leaning forward. The light from the window hit the diamonds on my hand. "The ones I bought myself. But while you were sleeping in my bed, in my house, I was awake. I was awake when the shelter was too loud. I was awake when the hunger in my stomach was louder than the city traffic. I've been awake for 4,380 days, Beatrice. And every single one of those days, I was thinking of you." Chloe tried to jump up. "You can't do this. This is illegal. You're stalking us." "Stalking?" I pulled a file from my drawer. "No, Chloe, it's called due diligence. I know about the offshore account in the Caymans. I know you forged Maya and Leo's signatures to waive their inheritance rights when they were toddlers. That's called a felony, and in this state, it carries a 15-year minimum." I leaned back, crossing my legs. "So here is the choice. You sign the papers, you walk out of here with the clothes on your back, just like I did, and I burn the evidence of your fraud, or I call the DA right now, and you can see how those silk scarves look with an orange jumpsuit." Beatrice looked at the pen as if it were a snake. Her hand trembled so violently the nib rattled against the desk. She looked at me, her eyes pleading. "Sydney C., please, we're family. Aaron wouldn't want this." "Don't you dare speak his name," I said, my voice dropping to a terrifying, low growl. "Aaron is the reason you're still breathing. If it weren't for the memory of the man he was, I wouldn't be giving you a pen. I'd be giving you a prison cell. Sign." Now. They signed. They sobbed. They crumpled. As security led them toward the elevators, the doors slid open. Maya and Leo were standing there. Maya was wearing a tailored coat, looking every bit the heiress of a billion-dollar firm. Beatrice reached out, a desperate, claw-like hand aimed at Leo's arm. "Leo, my grandson, tell her we love you." Leo, who is the spitting image of his father, looked at her with a cold, distant pity. "I don't know you," he said simply. "The only grandmother I have is the woman who worked 3 jobs to keep me alive. You're just a stranger in a cheap suit." Maya stepped forward. She reached into her bag and pulled out a thin, gray-pilled sweater, the one I had wrapped around her 12 years ago in the snow. She dropped it at Beatrice's feet. "You forgot this 12 years ago," Maya said. "Keep it, it's the only thing you own now." The elevator doors chimed and closed. I walked out of my office and into the bullpen. My entire staff, 300 people, stood up. The silence lasted for 1 heartbeat. And then the room exploded. It wasn't just a cheer, it was a tribute. They knew. They'd seen the late nights. They'd seen the grit. I walked back to my desk and picked up the phone. "Properties?" I said. "Change the locks on the estate. And donate everything in the closets to the downtown women's shelter. Every single thing." I looked at Aaron's picture. I finally felt the ice in my chest melt. "The debt is paid, Aaron," I whispered. "We're finally home." Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Scarlett Stories for more.